So let's say hello to Sherry K and Zoila and Mary.
Hello, ladies.
You guys.
Hello.
I hope you're doing good.
Yes.
I am. I'm really happy. I'm doing great. And happy birthday to Coco's son.
Yep, Cody's birthday. It's 29
How old is
today.
he?
29. I'm getting old.
29?
Wow.
Goodness.
Yep.
No, you're not getting old. He's getting old.
Yeah.
We both are.
I tell my kids.
Hey,
Hello,
Nick.
Nick.
Hello.
Oh, you're going to flying to Toronto to visit Montreal and Toronto.
Awesome.
Wow.
Very cool.
Heading on a Canadian train to Vancouver, too.
Oh, wow.
Very
That sounds
cool.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yes, Coco is still young.
Aw.
Yes,
Thanks,
she
Sherry.
is.
Yes.
Coming to see my Minnesota Twins take on the Blue Jays in Toronto. And then after 2 weeks in Canada, he flies to Australia.
Oh,
Oh,
wow. You're
my
all over the place,
goodness.
Nick.
That's amazing. Hello, Mary King.
Mary.
Hello, Mary
You-
King. And there's Brian. How are you,
Hey.
sweetie?
Hi, Bran.
Oh, my
And you were
gosh.
all over Europe not too long ago, too, eh, Nick? If I remember
Wow.
correctly.
Hello, Laura. Excuse me.
Hey, Laura.
Hello, Laura. How are you,
Come
sweetie?
on.
Wow. Talk about having a good vacation.
Oh, I know.
Mhm.
I'd like to go do all that.
Yep.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
We're going to wait a couple minutes for people to find their way in. Hey, Connie.
Hi,
Hello,
Hey, you
my
guys.
Yes.
Thanks, Zoila.
Thank you, Sherry.
Yes, please don't forget to hit those thumbs.
Yes, it helps out the channel, and it also helps out TFF to know that
Yeah.
you are enjoying our content.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, happy birthday to her son.
Mhm.
She doesn't look old enough to have a boy that's 29.
Nope.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Not in the least. That's pretty amazing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get married very young, though, so I had him at 20.
Wow. I mean, my son is 30, and I still can't believe yours is 29 because you're so much younger than me. Oh my God.
I'm not really that much younger, though, really speaking.
You are.
Hey, can we
Coming
stop
up on
talking about
50.
age now? I feel really young now.
You are very, very young.
I'm coming up on 50 in November, so not so young.
Wow. Really? You'll hit the
Yep.
big 5-0.
Yep.
Wow. And Dan's going, I am nowhere near that. I'm embarrassed. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not even I'm not even near my 30s yet.
No, you're not. But that's a good thing.
That's
Yes,
right.
I am.
Enjoy it
Sherry.
while you can. Because once you're our age, it's it.
Although my body doesn't agree, but yes, I am.
Yeah, you're learning.
Yeah.
You're
My
learning.
body hasn't agreed with the way I feel for a long time, but I don't know about the rest of you people. I'm not old. Tell
That's
my
right.
kids I did my birthday, collecting birthdays at 30. So there you go. Hello,
That's true.
Amy.
That's true. Your body starts to disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I
there's
think-
not much you
I
can
think-
do
I think-
about it.
I think
Nope.
26 is a bit young for my body to disagree.
Disagrees.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not much you can do about that, though.
Nope.
It kind of makes us crack up. Well, I hope you guys are ready to take notes today. We are going to talk about designing a pattern and some of the steps that we use to design a pattern.
Yes.
So if you need to get note paper and a pencil, don't worry. The PowerPoint will be in the Facebook group. I love that. My mind says I'm a teenager, but my body says I'm old as hills.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. My
Yeah.
body's like, yeah, right.
I mean, don't say that.
It's true. After 30, it's all downhill. Hello, Jen. It is
Hello, Janice. How are you?
we are going to talk to you about designing a pattern.
Yep.
It is not a sale.
No.
No, not a sale. Sorry. No, we're not selling anything.
Nope.
Very fast downhill.
Yeah. Unless you're on the ball with everything. Like, I was in great shape when I was finishing my carpentry course, but like that kept me in shape. Like I was, whoa, I was like Shira. But then I sat on my tuchus for like 4 years, and now I'm just like, bleh.
My fast downhill didn't hit till my 40s, and then it was like, boom. It's like a steep hill.
Right.
Even though my mind still thinks I'm 12.
Yep.
I mean,
Like I said, and honestly, like they say, age is just a number. So some days you feel like you're in your 20s, and the next days it's almost like you can see your foot slipping into that black hole.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Some days I'm gonna tell you. Oh yes. When I got sick last week, I thought, no way. Man, that was hard. Oh my goodness, Mary. Oh my goodness. That's right, Zoila. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was really. When you get sick and you're our age, it hits you. Like a train, literally.
Yep, sure does.
Yeah, the body says, "Ha, just joking."
Yeah.
You have to giggle about that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's okay though. It's all good. So, what does everyone know about writing patterns?
And have any of you written patterns?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yep.
Every one of us on panel has written patterns. It's really not that hard to do.
But before you can write a pattern, you've got to, decide what it is you're going to make and how you're going to develop it. So really, this is more about designing before you write it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about designing the pattern, but I wanted to know if anybody had ever written one.
Right.
Oh, you can't read. So I say no. Well, you need to check out last week's episode on my channel. And we talked about reading patterns.
That's right.
And Sherry has started to write one, and she has just finished the project. She hasn't finished the project yet. And yes, you are writing one, and I think you're doing a beautiful job.
Yeah. And to be honest, I don't follow patterns. I just kind of wing it normally. And I only learned how to read patterns the first time I wanted to write a pattern.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, hello, Angela. It's good to see you.
Hello, Angela. How are you, sweetheart?
Now, I think anybody can write a pattern. If you really work at it, you could do it.
Right.
I don't think it's that difficult. I think you can do it.
Absolutely.
You can all come up with your own designs. You can all create your own items. I'm sure you created your own items without writing them down.
Right.
Now we're just talking about writing them down.
That's what I do, and then by the time I've got to the end of the row, I've forgotten what I've done.
So we're talking about writing down what you are creating. But the first thing we're going to talk about is designing the pattern. And that's what today's episode is about. How to design a pattern. You're there with Dan. That's awesome.
I think Ash is saying, because Ash made me a cardigan, not that I know where I put it. And he oh, here it is. For 5 minutes.
Hey, Dozer.
Hello, Dozer. How are you?
Yeah, Ash made this.
Oh, I love that. Look at that. Here we go.
Oh, that is so pretty.
Isn't that?
Is that Barcelona by chance?
Huh?
Is that Barcelona yarn?
No, this is Lion brand.
Okay.
And,
That's nice.
There is a collar. Yeah, there's the collar.
I like that.
That is
beautiful.
very pretty.
I'm surprised.
Barcelona has a very similar colorway.
I'm surprised you're not wearing it. I like it.
It's too warm. It's acrylic.
Well, yeah, it is warm.
Mm.
And I've pulled.
I could use it. I'm out in my car.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Michelle. I'm sorry your chat won't come up. Michelle sent a note. Her chat
Oh,
won't come up, but hello, Michelle. I'm glad you're here.
yes. Thank you for being here with us.
That is a really pretty sweater.
I've pulled a stitch
I
out.
love the colorway.
Mhm.
That is very pretty.
It is Lion Brand Roving Bitto Honey.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
That is very right up your alley there, Dan. Bit of honey.
Oh yes.
Yes.
I like it.
I'm trying to find this stitch that's come
Love
out,
you.
but I can't find it.
Kerosene.
I like that. Yes, Zoila, you can do it. You can make a sweater.
I think to
Absolutely.
be honest, sweaters are easier than you think.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
With
Cardigans are easier than you think.
sweaters, I just
It intimidates people, but if you think about it, it's a rectangle on the back, rectangles on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
and really the sleeves are rectangles that are just seamed. So
That's right.
you can do that. And
That's right.
yes, Michelle is designing a Ruana right now.
Awesome.
So you can make a cardigan if you
Oh,
just
yes.
deconstruct it and put it in simple terms as rectangles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you
pretty
can
much.
all crochet rectangles. Well, there
And
you
if it's
go.
for yourself, an easy way to start is with the top down, which we
That's
did cover. You can like try it on as you go.
That's right.
You did. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. So it's easily done. Dan fell.
Dan fell out the window.
So poor Dan. Bless him.
Well, he'll be back in a minute.
Dan fell.
He's got the PowerPoint, so he has to come back.
Yeah, he has the
I'm like-
PowerPoint.
I'm like over here looking for it. I'm like, where's the PowerPoint? Did he take it with him?
Hey, Rose.
Oh my.
Hello, Roxanne. How are you, sweetheart?
Hey, Roxanne.
Here's Roxanne. I have to drive, so no cocktails today.
Definitely have yourself some wine. He did. He took that whole thing with him. I'm like in here looking. I'm like, where's the PowerPoint? He took it with him. Oh my. You have to write things down because you forget what you did. Yes, we
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
we all do.
Mm-hmm.
I have all kinds of sticky notes around here. I have steno notepads where I write it down. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And anything I want to that I've designed like haphazardly just up top of the cuff from back in the day, I just go back and I count all my stitches and I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to figure it out, like reverse figure it out. But
Right.
yeah, it's definitely easier if you write it down right away.
Makes it
Mhm.
much better anyway.
Right.
It really does. Where did he go? Yeah. Sam went out the window and took our PowerPoint with him. That's very fun. Yeah, we don't know. He fell out the window.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry. My laptop's gone into, I don't know, it's done something.
That's okay. You took the PowerPoint with you when you went.
Oh, sorry. Give me a second and I'll get it uploaded again.
Yeah, not a
Okay.
problem. You took it with you. And we're like, oh. Oh,
Fran said
wonderful,
that she
Fran.
designed a lot back in the early 2000s.
That's
Very
wonderful.
cool.
I like that. That is fantastic. I love to hear when you guys have been designing and writing your patterns and
That's right.
doing that. That's a good thing. That is really a wonderful thing.
Mhm.
I could
my
show you.
laptop needed to update. That's why it didn't work.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So one thing that you can use when you're designing and you want to sketch out your patterns is you can get a crochet pattern sketchbook. And
Mhm.
this actually just has graph paper.
That's right.
And you can use graph paper or dot paper.
I use dot paper.
So you can use either one. So this is just plain. This is regular squares. Now it depends on the type of stitches. So this is single crochets. These are double crochet graph paper. See how the
That's
stitches are
nice.
taller? For taller stitches.
That's nice.
That's the way that's made. Okay.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't see that, Rose. I have to go look for that. So that's what's nice about this. And if you are into making hexies, there's even a hexie graph paper.
Oh, good grief.
Well, that's cool.
So you can sketch out your design. It doesn't have to be that rectangle. You can sketch out your design. No matter what it is. It could be a stuffed animal. Yeah, because there's quite a bit of hexies. And there's quite a few of the double crochets. It could be a stuffed animal. It could be a scarf. It could be a shawl. And you could design it however you want to. And of course, you can take up multiple pages. And of course, there's little lines for you to make notes. All kinds of stuff like that. And, you know, multiples of these. Your half doubles would qualify for these squares as well. And your single crochets would qualify for these. But if you don't have enough of the longer graph paper,
right,
like back here, you can still use this one as well. You just count 2 blocks as 1 stitch.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is very helpful to use. It will help keep you, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But it'll help keep you, I guess, honest, knowing how many stitches you're using and everything. Right. So these are very handy. They don't cost a lot of money. They're on Amazon. This is just one that I have that has small blocks and stuff in it. This is harder for me to use. I have one with bigger blocks that's easier for me to use. But these are nice. I do recommend that you use the graph paper dedicated to your craft, whether it's knitting graph paper or crochet graph paper, because the squares are done in the ratio of the stitches, because like knit stitches are taller than they are wide. And just like your double crochet stitches are taller than they are wide. Dedicated graph paper to your stitches works much better.
Right.
So I do recommend that if you want to use graph paper. You don't have to. You can use plain white paper. It doesn't matter. You can use plain white paper. This is just fun to sketch in. And it's a whole lot of fun. And it's something different. And they don't cost a lot of money. They make great gifts for people.
Yeah.
Just letting you guys know. It's something different.
Yeah, I didn't know any of this cool stuff existed when I started designing. I just get a mental picture and I go with it.
Yep. Well, I've always used dot paper, so
yeah, dot paper works great.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got it takes him a minute because his computer's rebooting. Oh, you used your graph paper to make swear word pillows. That's awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, you can put it back up. Yeah, that's awesome. And here we have, let's see if will it let me solo it? There it is.
There we go.
There you go. Let's talk about this, how to design a pattern. And these are some steps that you can follow. It's not hard and fast. It's just what most of us do. And step 1, what do you got to figure out what you want to make. It's usually easier to make a sketch, but you do need to figure out what you want to make. Whether you want to make a shawl, an amigurumi, a pair of socks. It could be anything that you want to make, but you got to figure out what you want to do. You can't just say, I'm going to write a pattern and not know what you want to make,
Right.
you know. And making a sketch on a piece of paper will help you to know exactly what you're going to do and at least determine the sizing of what you're going to make. But you need to definitely determine what you're going to make for step one.
Definitely.
One of y'all take that one.
Choose yarn, stitches, and hook size. So once you've got your sketch and you know what you want to make, you have to decide what you want it to look like the stitch definition. What kind of yarn do you want? Is it going to be lacy? Is it going to be tight? Is it for summer, for winter? And what hook size would go with that yarn to give you that look and feel?
I definitely have to pick the yarn. Think about that. Do you want a hand-dyed yarn? Do you want a cotton yarn? Do you want an acrylic yarn? Is it an amigurumi? Do you want it to be cotton? Do you want it to be acrylic? You got to figure out the stitches. Is this going to be single crochets? Is this going to be treble crochets? Is it going to be the bead stitch? And definitely, like she said, the hook size really matters. You know, whether it's going to be tight stitches in an amigurumi,
Right.
or loose stitches in a shawl.
Yeah, the bigger the hook, the more drapey the fabric.
That's right.
There it is. That's definitely how you got to put it. Maureen.
Yeah, make a big swatch of your major stitches. Now, I know that many people do not like to make swatches, but if you're designing your own project, even if it is just a shawl, you need to make a big swatch of it using the hook and the yarn and the major stitches. Now, you don't have to worry so much about your singles and half doubles, that kind of thing. But if you've decided to put a row of popcorn stitches in there, you need to know what those popcorn stitches are going to look like with that yarn and the hook. If you're going to use multiple styles of stitches, like say an X stitch, if you're going to use a V stitch or a cluster along with, say, a popcorn or a puff, you need to make, like I said, a nice size swatch. And when I say a nice size swatch, I'm thinking, you know, at least 12 by 12 inches. I mean, because you can always go back and reuse that yarn later in something else. But,
Absolutely.
you know, you really need to make up a very big swatch of the stitches that you're going to be using, so that number one, you can find out if they look good together. Number two, how are they going to fall in the pattern of what it is that you've chosen to design?
Yeah.
So,
and number three, you will get your. I'm trying to think. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Tension. Your tension.
Exactly. That's right. Plus, people will ask about the swatch information.
Yes.
Exactly right.
They will ask about the.
They'll also tell you how many stitches per inch and height of the row across. So, yes.
Well, it'll do that. It'll tell you what the drape of your fabric's going to be.
That's right.
Will give you the gauge. It will also, depending upon how you make your swatch, give you an idea, a rough idea of how much yarn you're probably going to use.
That's right.
And this is a very, very important step that I would never skip.
Especially if you're making a wearable.
Yes.
Right.
The main thing is for the wearable.
Yeah, and this isn't written in stone, but what I like to do is when I'm picking my stitches, I try to pick some that kind of fall together in stitch count, like in starting chain count.
Yeah.
So like a 3 and a 6 or a 4 and an 8, or like somewhere along the way, they'll kind of like meld together.
Line up together. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you would have multiples of 4 plus 3. You need to know what your stitch count's probably going to be. And this
Yeah.
swatch is helping you so much. So it's helping you with your stitch count. It's helping you to see your stitches go together clearly. It's helping you with your drape. It's helping you with your tension. I mean, and it's helping you with basically your yardage. So this is a reasonable stitch swatch, literally would be 4 by 4 inches. But what we're saying is make a big swatch when you're preparing a wearable, a swatch of 12 inches by 12 inches.
Right.
Yeah.
That way you're preparing to make your garment. Yeah, that's a big swatch.
Because right after you've made your swatch comes the next step that a lot of people do not like to do.
No, so go ahead and flip the slide. So for the next step, you are going to clean, which is wash and block the swatch.
Have I missed a step?
No,
Oh.
you have to
No.
wash and block the swatch because you need to know what it's going to be like after it has been cleaned.
Right.
This is a big step. Whether you wash it in soak or you throw it in the washing machine, you need to know what is going to happen to the yarn once it's been cleaned.
Right.
There are yarns that shrink up. There are yarns that bloom out.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to know what is going to happen to this yarn because it will affect your garment dramatically.
You don't want to spend all this wonderful time working with the yarn, designing, getting it all made, and then the first time you clean it, it does not come out as the original.
That's correct. I mean,
been there, done that, folks.
Oh yeah, because some yarns will bloom, meaning they will puff out, and some yarns will shrink up, and that doesn't do you any good if you made a wearable because it's shrunk up.
Yeah.
You know, and also if it's blooming and spreading out, and you made a wearable, you will lose your stitch definition.
That's right.
And that doesn't do you any good either.
No.
So,
some yarns also felt, so
yeah, and there you go.
Yes.
And they felt the process. That's not good either. That loses stitch definition as well. You need to know what the yarn is going to do once it has been washed and blocked. It makes a huge difference. So this is a very important step.
I'm sorry, I just read myself.
She did after it after she washed it. It'll fit him when he's 18, but he's only 7. So see, that's what happens when she washed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I've had made socks and they got accidentally ended up in the washing machine. And guess what? They don't fit me, but they would fit a toddler. But I made them for myself. So I have to be careful with these things. It's very, you know, you got to be careful with the yarn. You just don't know what the yarns are going to do.
And I would strongly suggest, I don't care if you've used this particular yarn for years, it still is a good idea to make yourself a swatch and wash that swatch, or however it is you're going to have the instructions for that item, whether it's a scarf, a hoodie, a hat, you know, no matter what it is. I really do think it's important to do these 2 steps. Create yourself a swatch and then clean it to make sure that it's going to come out of the wash and it's going to look the way you want it to, wash after wash after wash.
Yes.
Even if you've used it often before, it might react differently with different stitches.
That's right.
Correct. That is correct. That's what, you know, you wonder why your designers charge so much for their patterns. They have done these steps. They have done this. And so this is a lot of work that goes into doing these patterns. You know, they have to do this. They have to do their big swatches. They have to wash these swatches. And then they, you know, they have to sketch their design. They got to make their swatch, choose their yarns and hooks and stitches. And then they got to do their swatches and they got to clean the swatches and block them out. You know, they have to do all this work.
Right.
And we all know, as well, I don't design patterns as much anymore, but those people that do design patterns, this is a very time-consuming part of designing a pattern.
Oh yeah.
But
Like I said,
Go
the
ahead.
swatching, I know a lot of folks do not like to do. They don't feel like that they need to do it. And, that's personal preference. But if you're going to design something, this really needs to be a step that you
Yeah.
incorporate in there. Both
Because
of
other
these,
people are
3 and
trusting what you tell them.
Yes.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And the end results are well worth it. They really are. And you will definitely thank yourself for doing it. Even if one sleeve is longer than the other, I just created a new fashion.
There you go.
Yes, Roxanne, I saw that video clip on Facebook, and I had a laugh with watching the audience. Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
So
That was worth watching. Yes. And step 5, know the body measurements if it is a wearable. So if you're making a wearable, you got to know what body measurements you're going to use to create that wearable. A good place to start would be the Craft Yarn Council. If you're making it for yourself, take something that you wear on a regular basis that fits the way you want this item to fit and measure it.
Right.
Or you can also get the adjustable mannequins.
You can definitely get adjustable mannequins. They're rather pricey, but I mean, simple. Like for me, I take a sweater that I own and do the measurements on the sweater and take it from there and do it that way. But if you're making for someone else, you can go to the Craft Yarn Council and you can get the measurements off of there for particular sizes. And that will make it rather easy for you. Or you can just get the measurements from the person you're making it for.
Right.
And when you do that, you need to remember, if you are making it with positive ease, meaning it's a loose garment, and you would add 1 to 2 inches for positive ease. Or if you're making a snug fit garment, and it would be negative ease, negative 1 to 2 inches. Yeah, you have that to consider.
Hang on, Zoila, give me 2 seconds.
Dan's getting it.
There is the link.
Yes, the Craft Yarn Council measurements. Yes. I refer to the Craft Yarn Council all the time. I mean, at least once a week, I'm going to their website.
That is how to do it. And I've also got, there is also some charts.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Which is nice because they show you how to measure. Like when they say, shoulder width, they show you where on the shoulders to measure from. If they're talking about your back length, they're talking about from the little bump on the back of your neck there down to your waist.
Yep.
So, I mean, and it talks about upper arm, lower arm, your wrist, things that you probably wouldn't even think about needing to be measured, but most of that information is there.
Oh, yeah. And let me tell you, those sizings are very, very helpful.
Yes. And they keep them updated with the fashion, what is it? Not fashion standards.
The size standards they keep.
Yes, I guess size standards is what I want, but there's another term for it.
They do keep them updated. And they have everything from men, women, children's, toddlers, babies. Yep. They have blanket sizing. They have scarf sizing, hat sizing. You name it, it's there.
If you're on the website, if you look on the right-hand side, it will say baby size chart, child and youth, women's, men's, head circumference, foot, hand.
Yes.
Everything's on there.
Yes. Everything is on there. And it is very helpful. So I am always referring to there. But you definitely need to know the measurements if you're making a wearable. That's very important. That helps you because how many people have you seen make a scarf that's way too short?
Yes.
I mean, that's awful. You can't wear a short scarf. It doesn't do any good.
Nope.
You know, when I make my scarves, they go from kneecap to kneecap.
Right.
That's just how I judge them. And if I make them for my husband, they go from my ankle to my ankle. I mean, that's not wrong. But my husband's almost a foot taller than me, which is why they would go that long on me. But you need to look at those links, and it gives you definite sizing, so you don't have an issue with making them the wrong
So
size.
the first link will show you how to take the measurements, and then
Yes.
the second chart is the chart for the women's, and then obviously the third is for men's.
There you go. See? And yes, see, Zoila, you end up with a smaller scarf than you needed. Yeah. Absolutely. I've had issues, in the past. And then I found the Craft Yarn Council, and I was like, oh, that's what you do.
That's right.
It makes a difference. It really makes a huge difference.
And they also have standards for if you're going to make a hat, how much yardage you're going to need, blankets, afghans, other wearables as well. They give you a nice idea of where to start when you're looking at the yardage you're going to need to make something.
Yeah, they give you a good ballpark figure.
Right.
Real good.
And Froggy's already touched on this one. If it's a wearable, use a similar item of size and fit. And of course, if you're making it for somebody else, you could, unless it's a present, then, you need to be sneaky about it. But if you are making a wearable for someone else, you could suggest to them, if you could borrow for a while something that they already like the comfort and feel of, so that you can get the measurements off of it, or ask them to do it for you and tell them specifically what measurements you are looking for. Hello, Dreeny. How are you, Sweet Pea?
Hi,
Hey,
Sandy.
I mean, that would be a great way of doing it.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, great way of doing it is to measure their sweater. One of y'all go ahead.
In this next step, use geometric shapes for drawing out your rough draft. Squares and rectangles can represent your front, your back, even your sleeves. Circles can represent like your neckline. Triangles can also represent the neckline. Trapezoids can also represent your sleeve lengths if you want. But most of the time, people will just use squares and rectangles, maybe a triangle or a circle here and there, but just to give themselves a rough sketch so that they can start placing their measurements and possible draw out, their stitch configurations, especially if they're going to use more than one stitch pattern.
Oh, definitely. It makes a difference.
And then step 8 is to place measurements on your rough design, allowing for ease, seams, borders, etc. So yeah, you need to make sure you're giving yourself an inch or 2 ease, either in or out, I imagine. I haven't made a wearable for a while, so I'm not exactly the best one to talk about this part.
Well, I always allow for ease, and then I also allow for seaming. Now, I realize that in crochet, when you seam something up, you're not going to take up near the space like you would if you were sewing on material. But I still like to allow for about a 1/2 inch if I need to on the seaming part, or I'll just allow an inch all the way around, like to take care of the seams on both sides, to take care of the seaming. Well, I guess that's where I would really do a full inch. And then I just allow like maybe about a 1/2 inch when I'm seaming the shoulders, around my when I'm attaching sleeves, and then of course down just to close the sleeve up itself.
Yeah. Why does it remind me of the show Survivor? Now you must face the Yarn Council.
Just watch.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Michelle's
And
right. The trapezoid could be handy for covering your butt.
yep, make it have that nice little flare to take in. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we have a schematic that was drawn up by Maureen, and she's going to explain it to you.
Okay, so this is a top that I am designing for one of my girls. And I kind of know what it is that she likes. So I just made my sketch first. You can see some dotted lines there on the bottom of it, and on the cuff of the sleeve, that's going to be like a little, I call it a window pattern, where, you know, you double crochet, skip 1 or 2 stitches, double crochet all the way around, so it kind of gives it an open weave pattern. I happen to already know her measurements. She's, depending on what part of the body you're looking at, she can wear a medium or a large. So I, a long time ago, just had her give me her measurements, so that I know where it is that I need to tailor in or flare out. And then, as you can see there, I just used rectangular geometric shapes to go back in and decide that I need this many inches across for the back and across for the front. I noticed that I'm going to go down about 6 inches to make the deepest part of the half circle for her neck. I have a little area marked for her waist and for her bust, because I know I'm going to have to make adjustments right in there. She does like a slight tailoring, so I normally just take in about an inch, and then I allow it to flare back out. So even though mine is not basically in a trapezoidal shape, especially for the bottom part there, I do know that I'm going to have to have a couple of rows of increases there to take care of the flare from her waist down to the I guess you'd say top of her hips. And then she just likes plain old straight arm sleeves, so I'm going to give her again that little bit of open pattern on the cuff of it to kind of give it just to break it up a little bit. But that is how I start out with making my wearables. I just get a picture in my mind and sketch it out. And then I put my measurements where they need to be, and then I start looking to see how many pieces I want to make. If that had been a cardigan, because you notice that there is a dotted line down the front of it there, it may not show up real well, but I can always go back and use this exact same pattern or layout anyway, and just give it a open front there, and she'll have a 3/4 sleeve cardigan if she wants.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I like it. So what kind of questions do you have?
Well, Michelle says, I keep up on the measurements of her grandkids so I can make things for them. Yes, because they're constantly changing, aren't they? Yes, with kids.
I'm going to go ahead and put this in the Facebook group for you guys.
Thank you. Hello,
Yes.
MDL.
Hello, Michael. How are you?
They are constantly growing.
Yes, they are.
Even grown-ups are constantly changing pretty much, whether they're gaining weight or losing weight. So you need to keep up with the sizing.
Right.
Half circle for the neck, Zola asked. Hello, Darcia.
Well, this is going to be designed from the top down. So I will just start with a chain and connect it, and that will give me my circle.
There you go.
For the top. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hello, Darcia. I didn't see you jump in there. How are you doing?
Hey, Darcia.
Now, see, it is possible to purchase a yarn and say, hey, I want to make a pattern with this yarn.
Mm-hmm.
Still need to decide what you are going to make.
That's right.
So no matter what, you're still going to have to figure out what you want to make and sketch it out.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why when I buy yarn, just in case, I always buy cardi quantities. Always.
Always.
Yep.
I do buy sweater quantities.
Yep.
Just on the off chance I'm going to make a sweater.
That's
Yeah,
right.
if I don't already have a plan for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm bad about that. We are doing good, Darcia.
Yes. So happy that
Oh,
you joined us today.
Sorry, guys. Hang on.
So the PowerPoint is now on the Facebook page, so you guys can find it there now.
That way
Cody's leaving, guys. Do you mind if I
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Bye,
Love
guys.
you.
Thanks for coming in. Mwah. Love you all the bits.
Bye.
Bye.
Bless her heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's her boy's birthday, guys. So
Yeah.
she's going to go be with him. Yes. But, he's doing a little bit better, Darcia. But, I mean, he's going to be ill for the rest of his life, but he's doing much better.
Yes. We're
Thank you.
very happy for his progress.
No, I don't play chicken with yarn, is what
Mm-mm. No.
I have, but I don't. I choose
No.
not to play it. No, not at all. It's not a fun thing. Yes, a lot of people are bad at buying too little.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to find another yarn to go with it if you can't find the original yarn.
Or you have to wait because you've had to order more or get out and go find it again. Yes.
Yeah, that's why I normally buy a sweater quantity.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes it easier for me. And it's not like I won't ever use the yarn. I'll end up using it in something else, whether it's amigurumis or in a blanket.
Yeah.
I can always do a scrappy blanket. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, Lulu.
Hello, Cindy. How are you?
So we always.
Well, we're glad you're here with us too. Thank you.
Yes. We always end up using a yarn, but we can't reiterate enough how important it is to do that swatch.
Yes.
And wash
please. Yes.
It is very important because you're going to need that. You need that for gauge for your pattern. It's very important. I know it's no fun, but you got to do it.
Well, but I think it's also great to mention you need to know how that yarn is going to react.
Yeah.
When it's been washed.
You do.
Like I said, a really good example here is Red Heart has changed where their yarn is being put together.
Yes.
It's no longer in China. I think it's in Turkey now. Is that right?
I think so.
Turkey or India? Okay, one of the two. Yes. And so even though it still looks and feels like Red Heart, unless you have taken the time to make yourself up a swatch with it and wash it, you can't rely on it performing like Red Heart has in the past.
No.
And I know a lot of companies, they chop and change their manufacturers a lot.
They do.
Yes.
They do.
And Daniel, with you being a yarn dyer, would you say that you can predict consistently whenever you get raw fiber I'm not going to say raw, but whenever you get skeins in to dye, that they dye up the same every single time?
No, it all depends on the brand of dyes used.
Right.
Because obviously I have different brands of dyes that I use for different colors because I like the way they come out more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and the dye affects the yarn a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
Right.
Even in commercial dyed yarn, the dye makes a huge difference.
Well, it does. As blue Red Heart and red Heart and white Red Heart, they all three feel different.
Right.
That will be because the red dye is a pain in the it takes a lot more dye to get that red.
Yes.
It takes a
Wow.
lot of dye to get that red, because if you don't put enough red dye in, you're going to get pink.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they all feel
So,
different. If you think about it, the color, different colors feel different.
And
You know?
your blues, because the color pigment in blue, it takes a lot to wash the excess dye out.
Yeah.
For instance,
right.
I've had blue yarn before. Yes, it runs clear for me
Mhm.
Mhm.
when I dye it. But for instance, I've had a thing with Froggy before where she's washed a blue garment that she's made with my yarn, and blue dyes come out.
Blue dye came out.
Yeah.
But
It's
it
just
was clear for him. It just happens.
it's just the way the blue pigment works.
Mhm.
And obviously, washing in the washing machine is a lot more thorough than
Right.
me washing by hand here.
Yeah. But it happens. It's not a big deal. It isn't
Mhm.
no big deal to me. But it also affects the way your swatches are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome, Faith Louise.
Yes.
But it is a good reason to do your swatch and to wash your swatch to
Yeah.
see how the yarn is affected.
Right.
We
And that's
yeah,
another thing we didn't mention. See if there was any color run.
yeah, there
Right.
is
There you
definitely
go. That's another good reason.
especially if you're using hand dyed yarn.
Mm-hmm.
But don't think it's just hand dyed.
No, it's all
No,
yarn.
it's not just hand dyed.
No,
It
I have
happens more often with hand dyed, but it
it
happens
does.
with all yarn.
Mhm.
I have used commercial yarn. I'm not going to tell you who, and been crocheting with it, and my hand got color on it.
Right. Me too. I've done that before.
Don't think it's just a hand dyed because it's
And
commercials as well.
it will happen more
No.
if you have hand cream on.
Yes.
If you have hand cream on, that can affect the yarn too.
Yes.
Huh.
No, it
Because
wasn't the water, Zoila. It wasn't the water. It was just the way that I had washed it that the hand dyed bled. It didn't bleed a lot. It just bled a little bit, but it got the rest of the blue out. I had the big box store yarn bleed on me, on my hands,
Oh wow.
and it's is what it is, but thorough washing of it got all the excess dye out.
Mm-hmm. And this is what I tell people who have bought my yarn and they have issues with color bleeding. Give it a good wash. That's all you
Right.
need.
Yeah. Now I've had other hand dyed bleed more than Dan's. Dan's only did it to me
Mhm.
once. I've had other hand dyes that have done it to me quite a bit. But again, it's those colors, the reds,
Right.
the blues, that do that. And that's why I brought it up, reds and blues. The big box dye that bled on me was blue.
Mhm.
It is what it is.
Right.
And if you are buying hand-dyed yarn and you're worried, give the skein a good wash before you even start working with it.
Oh yeah. I'm not mad or upset about it. It just that happens.
Mhm.
After talking with Dan and getting to know Dan and learning about dyes, I understand now that they have to use so much dye and all that kind of stuff. Zoila wants to know if they should use fabric softener.
I would recommend you use the specialty yarn wash.
Like soak.
Yeah.
You soak.
I like
There's a
the
brand
soak.
over here. I can't remember what it's called, but I would recommend using specialty yarn.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of the other one.
Oakland or something.
Oakland. Oakland.
Yeah.
Or Auckland.
Usually, yeah, something like that. You can usually get it from your local yarn shop. They'll usually sell it. A lot of places will sell wool wash.
Yeah, wool wash is what it is. You can get wool wash on Amazon, and you can get soak directly from the website.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it's Soak Wash, SOAK Wash, WASH, and you can buy it directly from their website.
If you're using an off-brand yarn wash, look at the reviews. Make sure you look at the reviews. Don't just go and buy the cheapest thing out there. Look at the reviews first, because Even the yarn soak can affect your yarn in strange ways.
Yes,
Well, Faith Louise says no, the softener will coat your clothes.
it does. That's why I use softener when I use Red Heart yarn, because it coats the Red Heart yarn and makes it softer. But yes, Faith Louise is correct. It does coat your clothes. That's correct. I agree. And those scent beads that you see advertised, they're just for the scent. They don't do anything
Right.
to your clothing.
They
They're
don't do
just for the smell.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
if
all-
you're gifting a crochet project, use unscented, because you don't know what people are allergic to. You don't know what sets them off.
Right.
Use unscented.
Now I use what's called dryer balls. They're wool balls, and they're felted, and they go in the dryer and they soften my clothes without using fabric softener. I use those.
I'll be darned.
Now it bangs around. And every now and again, if
Like
it,
a tennis shoe?
oh, they like tennis shoes. And every now and again, if it hits the door right, it'll pop the door open. But that's once in a blue moon. But if it hits that door right, it knocks that door open. But I use dryer balls. I like those. Those are much better.
Right.
But yes, unscented, I would definitely recommend unscented. Yes, I have wool balls too. Faith Louise uses wool balls too. Yeah, I have some. I like those. Thank you,
Thank you, Michelle.
Yes, the scented is pretty much probably my favorite. The unscented.
And if you're unsure, just go to your local yarn shop and ask for advice. They will give you the best advice possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. People sending a couple of dryer sheets. What's that about? The smell.
Probably, yeah.
I think that's just about the smell, Zoila. Now, if you're working with a yard and it's got a lot of static,
Yeah.
you can rub the dryer sheet on your yarn and it takes the static out.
Yes, I've heard that.
Now, other than that, I don't know what the dryer sheet would be for other than the smell.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've had to use a dryer sheet on staticky yarn before. But that's it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. And then another trick, I don't have a wooden one handy. A wood crochet hook. If it becomes too rough for crochet, take wax paper and rub it all over your crochet hook.
Yep, I've heard that.
I do that with my wooden needles. I just rub the wax paper on it, the wax paper you use in your kitchen.
Right.
And I use it for that. Yes. And weird things that you can do. That's what we should have entitled it. Weird things you can do.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Weird things you can do. Yeah, but I don't find a need to put the scented things in there. Yeah, beeswax. I prefer the wax paper because it doesn't put a lot of wax onto it.
Right.
It puts a minimal amount of wax on it, and you can just keep putting it on there as you need to. And it's just a very light amount of wax.
Or I know you can, on Amazon, you can get those handles that you can stick over your hook.
Yeah.
And then you can take it off when you finish with it.
Yes. Yeah, it's the wax paper. I always have wax paper. And I just cut a skinny strip about that wide and rub my wood needles with it. I probably have strips of wax paper in with my knitting needles, just saying. It helps to keep them smooth running. You use melted beeswax lavender drops and mineral oil mixture to coat your wooden ones. and let it set and rub it up. Nice.
Ooh,
Oh, yes, you have the beeswax for the quilted thread. That's right. Your
right.
metal gets squeaky. I clean them when mine gets squeaky.
Yeah.
I clean.
It can also depend on your tension as well.
Yeah, that could be tension. It could be the yarn, but I clean mine when they get squeaky. That's what I do. Because normally, if they're squeaking like that, it's because my hand lotion's been on them.
Right.
That's why. But I clean mine. Now, I clean mine with a damp cloth and a little bit of, I'll take one damp cloth, wipe them down, put a little tiny dot of Dove detergent on it, and wipe them down, and then wipe them down with another damp cloth. That's what I do.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's right. It's just what I do. I do not use harsh cleaners on mine. And the streamlined metals, I use the cloth that came with them to wipe them.
Right.
Yeah. I keep
Well,
mine.
all of my hooks, whether they're resin or metal, I haven't noticed it a lot with my wooden hooks, but mine squeak because I am a tight crocheter.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Just, I just kind of put up with the squeak.
Yeah. I don't normally have a problem unless I get a lot of hand lotion on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just wipe it down and keep it clean. And it's usually the same 2 or 3 hooks that I get dirty. So
Right.
And it's not a lot. It's very little, but it's usually the same hooks. But I normally clean my hands before I start crocheting.
Right.
Now, when I use cotton is when I'm using a lot of hand lotion. So that's when I know I'm going to have to clean my hooks.
Because cotton can really dry the skin out.
It dries me out.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
I have a lot of issues with the drying from the cotton.
Yeah.
But
it affects my cuticles a lot.
Yes. Yes. But if you guys don't have any more questions, we are going to go, and we will see you next week at Dan's house.
That's right.
Is it me next week? Oh.
That's you next week, buddy.
Yeah. At Dan's house. It just dawned on me. No, you are not doing anything wrong. Not at all. Nope, you're not doing anything wrong. And definite prayers for you and your mom, sweetie.
Yes.
You're not doing anything wrong. It's perfectly fine. Absolutely. Don't forget that the PowerPoint is in the Facebook group if you guys need that. And we are always around. Any comments or questions you can put in the Facebook group, we'd appreciate that.
Yes, we would.
Let us know. If your question or comment is private, you can always email us at TwistedFiberFriends@gmail.com.
That's right.
So letting you know. But otherwise,
we do greatly appreciate all of you being here today with your questions and your comments. Anyone that is watching the live in the replay, please leave us a little note, even if it's just to say hi, so we'll know that you stopped in and watched us.
Yes. And I will be live tomorrow on my channel with Maureen after Hobie Bingo.
Woohoo!
So we will see you then. Otherwise, stay safe, be kind to one another, and happy yarning. And go ahead, Maureen.
Please be the light out there in the darkness for someone today, because you never know, could be your light that they need to see. We love you all, guys, and thank you so much for being here.
We appreciate it. You got the outro, Dan?
I got it.
Bye.
Bye, guys.